Meta's quarterly earnings report has a lot of AI news in it. In this video, we're going to read through Mark Zuckerberg's announcement and transcript to focus specifically on what Meta's doing with AI, what's going on with Llama. If you want to stay up to date, if you want to crush it with AI, this is definitely the time to hit subscribe. All right, let's get into the article. Some key points here. Meta's apps are now used by over 3.2 billion people daily, which, by the way, gives them a significant advantage when it comes to AI data and usage. Facebook, Instagram, and Threads show strong year-over-year growth in both the US and globally, and then notable increase in engagement from young adults 18 through 29 on Facebook. So maybe Facebook isn't just for old, lame people like me. Maybe it's for cool young people like me. I don't know where I'm at, to be honest. I still feel like I'm pretty cool, but you might let me know in the comments that I'm not because I wear a hat or whatever, for whatever reason. Anyway, that's the main kind of non-AI news. Let's talk and read about the specific AI news that's happening. And again, this is straight from the transcript of Zuckerberg himself. Across Facebook and Instagram, advances in AI continue to improve the quality of recommendations and drive engagement. We keep finding that as we develop more general recommendation models, content recommendations get better. This quarter, we rolled out our full screen video player and unified video recommendation service across Facebook, bringing Reels, longer videos, and live into a single experience. This has allowed us to extend our unified AI systems, which had already increased engagement on Facebook Reels more than our initial move from CPUs to GPUs did. Which, by the way, when it comes to GPUs, I would garner that the NVIDIA's rollout of their new Blackstone GPUs, super powerful. Listen, this channel is for people that aren't software engineers, you don't understand coding. Basically understand this. GPUs are just graphic processing units. They're these chips that are just able to process lots of data really quickly, okay? Anyway, they released that. Now Facebook is merging different videos together and different AI experiences together to drive engagement. Over time, he says, let's continue. Over time, I'd like to see us move towards a single unified recommendation system that powers all of the content, including things like people you may know across all surfaces. We're not there, but there's still upside, yada, yada. Another thing I want to note is I was browsing Instagram the other day and a little button popped up in my top right and it encouraged me to start a conversation with an AI avatar. Have you seen that? Have you seen that? It wants me to talk to like this gothic chick, and then there's a workout dude, and there's a chef woman. It's kind of interesting how AI is starting to drive engagement. And by the way, I posted, I'll share the video link up here. I have a hot prediction that within the next 5 years, half of high schoolers are going to be dating these AI chatbots. Not a doubt in my mind. I'm not going to get to that in this video. I'll leave the link up there. All right, let's continue. AI is also going to significantly evolve our services for advertisers in some exciting ways. It used to be that advertisers come to us with a specific audience they want to reach, like a certain age group, geography, or interest. Eventually, we got to the point where our ad system could better predict who would be interested than the advertisers themselves could predict. That's amazing, by the way. That's just amazing. And not surprising. It's been said that Facebook knows when you have colon cancer before you know you have colon cancer because it knows everywhere you are, when you're crapping, et cetera, et cetera. Anyway, let's not get too vulgar. Let's continue with what Facebook knows by using AI. But today, advertisers still need to develop creative themselves. In the coming years, AI will be able to generate creative for advertisers as well, and will also be able to personalize it as people see it. That is amazing. Over the long term, advertisers will basically be able to tell us a business objective and a budget, and we'll do the rest for them. We'll get there incrementally over time, but I think this will be a very, very big deal. This is so amazing, and this is something that actually Mr. Beast does in his videos. Some other people are doing it in their videos as well, where they can change the way that lips move on talking head videos and superimpose that voice using AI programming like 11 Labs. And what's really cool about this is you can take one video, for example, this video you're watching now, and you could change the language that I'm speaking in based on the interest, right? So if I can record one video and that can appeal both to the Spanish-speaking audience, to a Mandarin speaking audience, to a Cantonese audience, to a Portuguese audience, to an English audience, and it'll look exactly the same. And this can also be used to change the messaging. Am I speaking to business owners in Florida? Am I speaking to all my single ladies in Chicago? Who am I talking to? And you'll be able to use AI to change it immediately. I think this is really spectacular. It's amazing. And actually, earlier this year, I was in DC for a Meta conference, and they are going really hard on advertising and AI. So this lines up perfectly with what we were talking about at the Meta conference in DC. Okay, let's continue with Zuck's transcript. Moving on to some of the brand new experiences that AI enables. Last quarter, we started rolling out our assistant Meta AI, and it is on track to achieve our goal of becoming the most used AI assistant by the end of the year. We have an exciting roadmap ahead of things that we want to add, but the bottom line here is that Meta AI feels on track to be an important service, and it's improving quickly, both in intelligence and features. Some of the use cases are utilitarian, like searching for information or role-playing difficult conversations before you have them with another person. And other uses are more creative, like the new Imagine Yourself feature, which lets you create images of yourself doing whatever you want, in whatever style you want. And part of the beauty of AI is that it's general. So we're still uncovering the wide range of use cases it's valuable for. And again, I kind of touched on this a little bit in the beginning, but if you have billions of users on your platform, that gives you immense amounts of data, which is going to be used to train these models. And when you power that with powerful, powerful GPUs from NVIDIA, you're just going to be able to explode your productivity. You're going to be able to explode. And this is really likened to the internet boom that happened in the early 2000s. Just like internet is part of our everyday life, AI is going to be part of our everyday life. And there are going to be a few winners. And when you have a platform that has 3 billion active users, you've got an advantage. Something that ChatGPT does not have. I actually really like ChatGPT. I use it in a lot of automations. I have a lot of prompt videos here on this channel. But they're at a disadvantage. They just don't have the user base that Meta has. Also, by the way, thanks for liking and commenting on this video, and also subscribing to my newsletter at aiupdate.ai. I can't cover everything this in depth, but if you go to aiupdate.ai, I will give you the 411 so you can stay informed with other regular people, so you can really, really crush it with AI. All right, let's continue with this transcript here on this big news from the Meta quarterly earnings report. An important part of our vision is that we're not creating a single AI, but enabling lots of people to create their own AIs. This week, we launched AI Studio, which lets anyone create AIs to interact with across our apps. I think creators are especially going to find this valuable. There are millions of creators across our apps, and these are people who want to engage more with their communities, and their communities want to engage more with them. But there are only so many hours in the day. So now they'll be able to use AI Studio to create AI agents that can channel them to chat with their community, answer people's questions, create content, and more. And by more, it means send them into your funnel, to your free offers, to your paid resources. I'm quite excited about this, but this goes beyond creators too. Anyone will be able to build their own AIs based on their interest or different topics that they are going to be able to share with and engage with or share with their friends. Again, I talked about this earlier. I just logged into Instagram the other day. I saw a little button at the top right, which allowed me to engage with all these different sorts of AI avatars. Love it or hate it, this is happening. I think there's a lot of positives to this, but I do feel like this might create a backlash where people really crave the authenticity of speaking to a human being. In a world where the majority of your conversations are with AI avatars and AI bots and AI clones, it might be nice to actually have a conversation with your wife, with your girlfriend, with your colleague. It just might. It might create an interesting opportunity to create real life in-person experiences. All right, let's continue. Business AIs are the other big piece here. We're still in alpha testing with more and more businesses, and the feedback we're getting is positive so far. Over time, I think that just like every small business has a website, social media presence, and email address, in the future, every small business will also have an AI agent that their customers can interact with. Fact check true. Fact check true. I could go off on a huge tangent here, but within the next few years, every business is going to have an AI agent that's there to answer calls, engage with users that land on their website. They're going to be used to book appointments. I'm already seeing this in funnels. You're already seeing these AI chatbots designed to take someone who might be moderately interested in a product and get them on a sales call. This is already happening. I've seen it both happen as a chatbot on a website and as an actual phone call. So this is happening now, and it's going to only go farther from here. All right, let's continue. Our goal is to make it as easy as possible for every small business, eventually every business, to pull all of their content and catalog into an AI agent that drives sales and saves them money. When this is working at scale, I think this is going to dramatically accelerate our business messaging revenue. I cannot emphasize how big of a deal this is, because he's right. Every business is going to have this. And I'd say probably in very short order. And you might say, okay, cool. The business is saving a lot of money. You know how they're saving money? Is because they're letting go of the receptionist. They're letting go of the customer service rep. They're letting go of all these different like bottom end salespeople. They might keep one salesperson, but all the appointment setters gone, cold callers gone, customer service reps. Maybe you go from 5 to 1 or 100 to 2. This is going to happen. And this is why I think it's really important that you're engaged now so you understand the dynamic of what's happening in your industry. And that's really what this channel is all about, helping you be as productive as possible in this new AI world. It's unbelievably important. And if I could just save one person from financial disaster, I will consider it a job well done. So thanks for subscribing and investing in yourself. Let's continue. There are a lot of other new opportunities here that I'm excited about too, but I'll save those for when we're ready to roll them out. The engine that powers all these new experiences is the Llama Foundation model. This quarter, we released Llama 3.1, which includes the first frontier level open sourced model, as well as new and industry leading small and medium sized models. The 405B model has better cost performance relative to the leading closed models. And because it's open, it's immediately the best choice for fine tuning and distilling your own custom models of whatever size you need. I think we're going to look back at Llama 3.1 as an inflection point in the industry where open source AI started to become the industry standard, just like Linux is. I record an entire video on this topic. I'll share a link to it up there and in the description below. So after the end of this video, you can check that out. But Llama 3.1 is a big deal. Open source is a big deal. And the 405 billion parameter model is a big deal. It's going to dramatically change the experience that you have with AI. Let's continue. I often get asked why I'm so bullish on open source. I wrote a letter along with Llama 3.1 release explaining why I believe open source is better for developers, for Meta, and for the world more broadly. My view is that open source will be safer, will enable innovation that improves all of our lives faster, and will also create more shared prosperity. For Meta's own interests, we're in the business of building the best consumer and advertiser experiences. And to do that, we need to have access to leading technology infrastructure and not get constrained by what competitors will let us do. This is kind of a jab at Apple, by the way, because Apple takes a 30% rev share on ad sales, which is driving up the cost of Facebook ads. And that was another major topic at the Meta conference I was at earlier this year in DC. Let's continue. But these models are ecosystems. They are not just isolated pieces of software we can develop ourselves. So if we want the most robust ecosystem of tools, efficiency improvements, silicon optimizations, and other integrations develop around our models, then we need them to be used widely, used by developers across the industry. Once we know that we're going to have access to the leading models, then I'm confident we'll be able to build the best social and advertising experiences. And what you're seeing here is they're looking to make strategic partnerships with all sorts of manufacturers, developers. I think NVIDIA is one I would pay close attention to. And so if you're looking at stocks here, NVIDIA is already like one of the biggest stocks in the world. What's next? Who's the up-and-coming hardware producer? Like, what are politicians going to do to drive manufacturing here in the United States? Right now, almost all of the silicon chips are made in Taiwan. I think it's something 92% of the world's microchips are produced in Taiwan, which is right next to China. What if China takes over Taiwan? That's a huge exposure for the United States and for developers as a whole. Not going to go deep down that rabbit hole, but it's clear here that what Zuck is saying is we're going to need to develop more strategic relationships with other parts of the value chain. All right, let's continue. Part of why I'm so optimistic about this is that we have a long track record of success with open source. We've saved billions of dollars with Open Compute Project by having supply chains standardize on our infra designs. Open sourcing tools like PyTorch and React has led to real benefits for us from all the industry's contributions. This approach has consistently worked for us, and I expect it will work here too. By the way, big fan of open source. Open source the code, baby. I'm all about it, all about it. The other advantage to someone like Zuck and Meta is that if it's open source, you're gonna get tons of creators building, leveraging the tools, creating all sorts of unique experiences, and then Meta can kind of like pick and choose the best ones and just develop their infrastructure and their model more quickly. So I think open source is win-win, and I agree with Zuck here. I think it's a huge step in the right direction. Let's keep going. Another major area of focus is figuring out the right level of infra capacity to support training more and more advanced models. Llama 3 is already competitive with the most advanced models, and we're already starting to work on Llama 4, which we're aiming to be the most advanced in the industry next year. We're planning for the compute clusters and data we'll need for the next several years. The amount of compute needed to train Llama 4 will likely be almost 10 times more than what we used to train Llama 3, and future models will continue to grow beyond that. The amount of compute needed to train Llama 4 will likely be almost 10 times more. 10 times more. This is interesting. Do you know the amount of energy, the amount of power it's going to require to power these systems? One of the things that's happening over in China is developing these nuclear reactors that are just so energy efficient. And I understand the need to reduce climate impact, to reduce the amount of fossil fuels we're using. Solar, wind is not going to get you to the levels of energy that are required. And if the United States continues to dramatically push away from fossil fuels, there needs to be another source of energy. Solar and wind is not going to get you to the levels of energy that are required to develop these AI systems. And by the way, if we're not developing AI systems, somebody else is. So listen, I'm not an expert in energy, but I do believe that nuclear, if you want to save the planet by reducing fossil fuels, nuclear is going to need to play a part. You may disagree. Type your comments below. I want to hear from you because this is, I think, a really important talking point. Hopefully, our politicians will talk more about this because energy independence is really important from an inflation standpoint and obviously from an AI development standpoint. Golly, Llama 4 will likely be 10 times more the amount of compute needed. That's crazy. All right, let's keep going. Future models will continue to grow beyond that. It's hard to predict how this will trend multiple generations out into the future, but at this point, I'd rather risk building capacity before it is needed rather than too late. Given the long lead times for spinning up new infra projects, and as we scale these investments, we're of course going to remain committed to operational efficiency across the company. The last area I want to discuss is how AI is shaping our metaverse work, which continues to be our other long-term focus. All right, I'm like, give it to me. Give it to me. Are you excited for the metaverse? I am so freaking stoked for the metaverse. I'm a longtime avid gamer, and you're telling me I can go VR and have these experiences? I'm in. Sign me up. All right, let's see what he has to say. Last quarter, I discussed how advances in AI have pulled in the timelines for some of our products. A few years ago, I would have predicted that holographic AR would be possible before smart AI. But now, it looks like those technologies will actually be ready in the opposite order. We're well positioned for that because of the Reality Labs investment that we've already made. So just to keep you up to speed, AR is augmented reality. That would be like wearing glasses that are giving you a unique experience while looking at the world in real time. So for example, I walk into a mall and my AR, my augmented reality glasses will show me, you can buy this this dress, or you can buy these shoes, and it'll tell you the price. You'll say, buy that, or what is he wearing, or what kind of car is that? So he's saying that, well, maybe actually virtual reality is going to be ready for prime time faster than augmented reality. Ray-Ban Meta glasses continue to be a bigger hit sooner than we expected, thanks in part to AI. Demand is still outpacing our ability to build them, but I'm hopeful that we'll be able to meet demand soon. Essilor Luxottica has been a great partner to work with on this. They produce Ray-Ban, by the way. And we're excited to team up with them to build future generations of AI glasses as we continue to build our long-term partnership. Also, by the way, when I was in DC, they had a little demo for the Meta glasses, these Ray-Ban Meta glasses. I didn't get a chance to wear them, but some of the people that wore them said they were super, super cool. I did get a chance to try out their next-gen VR and virtual reality. That was really cool. I thought it was a huge step up from the original Meta Quest 2. Okay, Meta Quest 3. This is their newer virtual reality goggles. Quest 3 sales are also outpacing our expectations. And I think that's because it's not just the best MR headset for the market, for the price, but it's the best headset on the market, period. In addition to gaming, people are increasingly taking advantage of Quest's capabilities as a browsing computing platform, spending time watching videos, browsing websites, extending their PC via virtual desktop, and more. Horizon also continues to grow across virtual reality, mobile, and desktop. And I expect that it will become an increasingly important part of the ecosystem as well. I just think that virtual reality is so cool. There's pros, there's cons. I'm not going to get to all of them here, but I will say this. In 2021, I came down with COVID for New Year's Eve, and I wasn't able to go out because I had COVID. I was sick. And so what I decided to do was put on my Meta Quest 2 goggles, and I was immediately transported to this brand new world. And in this world, there were different doors that I can open. And some of the doors were to go see fireworks. Some of the doors were to go watch NBA games and do these different experiences. So I walked into a door that was a New Year's Eve party. And as soon as I walked in, there are all these people in there having conversations, looking at these big screen, kind of like making fireworks, pop out sparklers. And something that was, I think, very interesting to me is I had a physiological anxiety of being in a room around people that I didn't know. Have you ever felt that way? You walk into a room, you don't know anyone, and you immediately kind of like had that, I'm kind of like an extrovert and introvert. I walk in, I immediately felt like, I don't know anybody here. And I thought that was so interesting that even though I know that I'm in this virtual world, that I'm never going to see these people again, I still had that physiological reaction, that gut punch of, oh, I'm in a place that I don't know anyone. And I think that virtual reality is going to be, is going to give a lot of that type of experience. Obviously, the virtual desktop and stuff is I think, interesting too. One of the big challenges I think that Quest needs to overcome is that when you have the goggles on for a long period of time, it just kind of feels bad. You start to sweat. You can get this kind of like motion sickness type of thing going on. So they'll sort that out over time, but that's one of the issues I think that I've had personally with having the goggles on. If I have them on for like more than 20 minutes, it becomes uncomfortable. Let's continue. We're hosting our annual Connect conference on September 25, and we'll have lots of exciting updates around all of our AI and Metaverse work. So I encourage you to tune into that. And by the way, if you can't watch all of that, you can always come here to the channel, subscribe to the channel, and subscribe to the newsletter AIupdate.ai. There is tons of important AI stuff happening every single day, people. Every single day, I will give you only the most important news, the stuff that's actually going to impact your life. You got to know what's happening in your business, in your industry. You need to know what's happening globally with the politics of the moment. How is AI impacting the world? Because the better informed you are on how AI is impacting the world, the better you're going to be able to impact yourself, your future, your family, your community. This is important. And thank you for subscribing to AIupdate.ai. It's totally free, and it's going to equip you to be the best version of yourself in this AI world. What are your thoughts, by the way, on all this AI news? Meta's killing it. I think that they are going to change the world with AI. I'm excited for it. I'm a little bit terrified at the same time, but I think that's what makes it interesting. What do you think? Comment below. I'll see you in the next video. Peace.